Okay, so welcome back to the slippery slope. So today I'm going to respond to some of the negative comments that came in after the hard to justify episode, specifically some of the shorts that came across on Facebook, because Facebook seems to be where I get a lot more comments. And look, I'm not surprised. Okay, so whenever you question police culture in Australia, especially in Queensland, people react emotionally. They don't engage with the argument, they defend the institution. But the comments themselves reveal, I believe, they reveal something a little deeper, a mindset that excuses anything done in uniform simply because the job is hard. So let's talk about it.
Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Okay, so the first comment, okay, is basically get out from behind your keyboard and face what police face. So this is one of the most it's one of the most common reactions. It is emotional and it's not logical. It assumes that police stress justifies misconduct. And it also assumes that difficulty of the job excuses bad decisions and that civilians have no right to question public servants. But here's the truth, okay? Stress does not erase accountability. Danger does not erase responsibility, and the uniform does not erase truth. And I'm not speaking from ignorance. I'm speaking as someone who has faced unknown threats and who has made split second decisions and who still says, even under pressure, you are responsible for your actions. That's not keyboard commentary. That's my lived experience. So the second comment is, you don't know what it's like. This one's To me, this one's ironic because I do know what it's like. But even if I didn't, the argument still fails. We don't apply this logic anywhere else. Okay? You can criticize a politician without being a politician. You can criticize a doctor without being a doctor. You can criticize a pilot without flying a plane. Public roles come with public accountability, and police are not a protected species, a protected priesthood. The next comment is, they feared for their safety. Fear is real, but fear cannot be the sole justification for force all the time. It can be some of the time, but it cannot be the sole justification all the time. If fear alone justifies actions, then every every mistake is excusable. Every overreaction is understandable, and every excessive use of force is defensible. Uh, fear fear must be balanced with training, discipline, and truth. It has to be. Fear is something that you need to overcome, and it's not something to hide behind. The next comment I need to talk about is that seeming to assume that I'm anti-police. Classic deflection. For one, I'm not anti-police. I'm disappointed in the pathway that specifically QPS has taken. I'm very disappointed in their recruitment practices, and I've been saying this for quite a while now. I'm of the firm belief that the recruitment practices that they have employed over the last what was it now, 26, the best part of a decade, that these practices will affect policing in Queensland. And I think the public has been paying the price for their recruitment practices that they have employed over the last decade. I am not anti police, and this rhetoric is classic deflection. It's criticizing Criticizing misconduct is not anti police. Demanding accountability is not anti police. And expecting truth is not anti police. In fact, the people who defend misconduct, they are the ones harming policing because they protect corruption instead of integrity. Remember Isaiah. Isaiah warns about leaders who call evil good and good evil. That's exactly what happens when people defend wrongdoing simply because it was done in uniform. Now, I want to look at what the PPRA actually requires, not what commentators assume. So, this is where the emotional arguments collapse, in my opinion. So, the PPRA is the Police Powers and Responsibilities Act of 2000. PPRA is very clear about how officers need to behave when facing a potential threat, especially in a built up suburban environment. The PPRA requires reasonable suspicion, not fear. Officers must have observable facts, lawful grounds, reasonable suspicion, and fear is not reasonable suspicion. The PPRA requires proportionality. The Act preserves necessity, proportionality, reasonableness. In suburban settings, proportionality is even more critical because civilians are nearby. Everyone seems to have forgotten this little fact. Civilians literally driving past. When you're looking at the episode that I'm talking about, Hard to Justify, in that scenario, civilians literally driving by as shots are being fired. Homes in the background, people standing around. Proportionality. Children may be present, and crossfire risks were very real. The PPRA requires discipline and training. Discipline and training, not just act out of fear and start shooting recklessly. The act assumes that officers control adrenaline and they assess threats. You need to have a threat assessment. It's hard to see just going by the actions, just going by the outcome. I don't believe, I assume, okay, just my assumption, that there was no threat assessment conducted. You need to act lawfully and you need to apply training. If an officer reacts like an untrained civilian, they are not complying with the PPRA. The PPRA requires environmental awareness. In suburban areas, officers must consider your neighbours, bystanders, containment options, tactical withdrawal, and communication options. The PPRA does not justify shoot first because it's scary. Fear is human, fear is real, but fear alone is not always a legal justification. The real issue behind these comments, I believe, the comments reveal a cultural problem. It shows blind loyalty, emotional defense of authority, fear of questioning institutions, belief that the public must submit rather than scrutinize. This is how accountability dies. This is how corruption grows. And this is how trust collapses. And that is why episodes like Hard to Justify really matter. So, to everyone who commented emotionally, I get it. I do get it. You want to believe the police are always right. If you're a police officer, you don't like being scrutinized. You don't like seeing your fellow officer come under this extreme pressure. I get it. You want to believe that the uniform guarantees integrity. But truth doesn't work that way. Accountability is not optional. Scrutiny is not disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect the people in that situation. I do acknowledge it was a stressful situation. But scrutiny is not disrespect, and justice is not a feeling, it's a standard. You need to remember that an innocent bystander also had a bullet lodged in her body from the police. People seem to have forgotten that altogether. And these comments about, well, what would you do? What if? What if he was running at you? What if he was doing this? So let's not deal in the what ifs. Let's deal with what was actually happening. As a police officer, that's what we're supposed to be doing, dealing with the facts on the ground, not the what ifs. As always, this is just my opinion. I'm Jay Fallon, and thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope podcast.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher.